Antonio, bye week, do you even think about football?
Well, it depends on what your record is. 6-1, rock and rolling, 6-2, 7, whatever. 3-4, I'm thinking about football a lot because I know that my season is probably going to end at the end of this year, and there will not be no postseason. So I think every year is different. Obviously, it's where does that bye week fall? I think for the Giants, kind of being dead smack in the middle, which is normally a good thing for them because they're normally banged up and injured, and you want to get healthy. But normally they are a team that's been, I'll say in years past, 5-3, 6-2. Last couple of years struggling. So I think for the Giants, maybe the bye week is good. I think also with the CBA the way it is, it's mandatory that these guys get a little bit more days off. Sometimes I don't like to be away from football, especially when things are going bad. I want to stay right with it and keep grinding.
All right, did you see enough in the Cowboy game to believe when they come out of this bye they might be able to navigate through that really tough schedule?
Yes and no. I do see progress in the offense. I think Eli is now coming to grips with that offense. I think understanding the players around him, even with the loss of Victor Cruz, I think we're starting to see a star there in Odell Beckham. I thought Randall played good. Obviously, the tight end did good, just fumbled the football. The one area of concern is the running game. Andre Williams does a great job. He's sitting in there like a hammer. But it's not consistent enough for what Eli and the Giants need as an offense. And then on the flip side, I think defensively, with John Beason most likely being gone for the season and injuries in the secondary, and again, the pass rush, okay. I can't sit there and say that this team's going to go down 8-8 down the stretch, or go 500 football down the stretch. It's like what I said at the beginning of the year, guys. This is a 6-10 football team at best, and you better just hope nothing else major happens injury-wise.
All right, so what are the Jets then?
The Jets are a poor team. They're a poor team. Great splash with the Percy Harvin trade, but just not enough. I think we saw the best football we'll probably see all season long from Geno Smith against the Patriots, and that still came up with the loss. It's just tough. It's kind of hard to wrap your finger around exactly what do they need. I think you see it for the most part, but each week it changes. It's a running game. You got Ivory here, you got Johnson. It just hasn't given you enough spark to sit there and say that's going to help Geno Smith. And now to say the savior is there with Percy Harvin, I think that's tough. The one thing they have going for them is defense, but that secondary is pretty poor.
Michael and I have been saying it. You lose to Buffalo with as banged up as they are with their running game, and you've got Kansas City coming up next week. Jets lose to Buffalo. This could be one of those 12, 13-loss seasons. You agree?
Yeah, no, this is a clean house. You're cleaning the house after this season. Either way, I think as much as Rex has tried to do a job with what he has to deal with offensively, this is a bad team across the board. And the thing about it is how much longer can management and ownership sit there and say it's okay to be under 500 or be out the playoffs or be subpar in the New York area? I don't think it's going to go for Rex Ryan another year. I think it's sad that another quarterback drafted highly by the Jets is going to fail and maybe alter his career where you can't bounce back. This is a good bounce-back game, though. I think they have a great opportunity to win against Buffalo, but are they going to do all the things right? Are they not going to turn the football over? Are they going to be dominant on defense where they should really – this should be a stat game, I say. When you know you don't have a running back involved, you can bring all the exotic blitzes and pressures that you want to bring as a D coordinator, understanding that they're going to throw the ball more than they're going to run it.
Not being said, now that you have Harvin on the offensive side of the ball, do you believe that we're going to have a true reflection of what Geno Smith is all about?
Yes and no. I think the excitement will be there when the ball gets in his hands, but I never viewed Percy Harvin as a true, legit wide receiver. He's that utility guy like a Reggie Bush where you say he's a running back, but yet he's lined up all over the place. And if I'm the Jets, I would use that to my advantage with Percy Harvin, line him up in the backfield. Saw the Jets sweep that the Seahawks used with them in the Super Bowl and throughout the season this year. You have to be creative with this player. I mean, he's a guy you just got to find ways to get him touches. Is he going to run a great comeback route or a post? No, that's not his game. But hopefully Geno Smith can just find a way, bubble screens, anything, to make a spark with his offense with a player that's explosive like that.
Final thing with Antonio Pierce, moving away from the New York football teams, 2 games in a row now, Peyton Manning is just, it's breathtaking watching him play quarterback. But I have a question for you, Antonio. Why can't he ever do this on a Super Sunday?
The weather. Well, Super Sunday, well, it depends on where it's at. Last year, obviously, it was in New York. But the one thing I've always said about Peyton Manning and that offense is obviously the weather, the climate has to be perfect. The conditions have to be perfect. And you know this now. You know, in later months of the season, they play in Denver. Most likely it's going to be outdoor games in the championship the way it's playing out with who's going to be 1 and 2. The ball doesn't travel the same when the air is when it's thin and it's wet and the moisture's in the air. It just seems for some reason that type of football doesn't translate into championships. And yeah, you can sit there and say the Green Bay Packers and the Patriots got theirs in years past, but count on your fingers how many of those highly explosive offenses have won Super Bowls. Doesn't happen. The thing I think they got going for them that they showed last night was a running game. Not a power running game, but an explosive running game. Because what Peyton's going to do is just keep counting the box. 5, 6 guys in the box, chase a run. That's going to be key. But the best thing Peyton Manning has going for him, he has some guys on defense playing good football, and that should help later part of the season.